You ever look back at somebody you used to cry over and now you thank God it didn't work out? That's what I'm talking about. See, sometimes life gotta hurt you to help you. Sometimes God will break your heart to save your soul. You think you lost the love of your life, but truth is you just lost the lesson you needed to learn. When a person walks out on you, don't chase them. Clap for them because they just made space for the real blessing coming your way. You see, you can't get what's meant for you if you're still holding on to what was never yours. That breakup you're crying about, that was a setup for your breakthrough. Let me tell you something. Pain changes people. It wakes you up. It teaches you who's real, who's fake, and who's just temporary. It shows you what you really deserve. You don't discover your worth when people treat you right. You find it when they don't. That breakup forced you to look in the mirror and say, I'm still standing. I'm still enough. And that right there, that's power. Sometimes we confuse attachment with love. Just because you missed somebody doesn't mean they were good for you. Some folks only come into your life to show you what you should never accept again. They were the storm that cleared your path. You thought it was over, but really, God was just getting started. You got to understand, rejection ain't punishment, it's protection. Every time you got left, you got led. Every no brought you closer to the right ways. That relationship didn't fail, it fulfilled its purpose. It taught you how to love deeper, how to trust slower, and how to value yourself more. So stop being bitter about who left. Be grateful. That breakup was the blessing. It woke up the warrior in you. It pushed you to level up, to grind harder, to glow brighter. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rebuild stronger. The pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to reveal you. Because one day, you're going to look back at that heartbreak and smile. You'll say, thank you, God. If that hadn't ended, I wouldn't have found peace. I wouldn't have found me. That's the blessing right there. When you realize losing them was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of your comeback. Rejection isn't punishment, it's protection. When something or someone walks out of your life, it's easy to think you did something wrong. You start questioning your worth, your looks, your effort, everything you gave. You replay the moments trying to figure out where it went wrong. But what if it didn't go wrong? What if it actually went right in a way you just can't see yet? Sometimes life removes people not to hurt you, but to protect you from what you couldn't see coming. You might have been praying for peace while holding something that was the very cause of your pain. That rejection wasn't meant to break your heart. It was meant to save your future. When doors close, it's not always because you don't deserve what's behind them. It's because there's something better waiting with your name on it. The problem is we try to force things that were never meant to fit. We beg people to stay who were only meant to stop by. And every time you do that, you delay the blessing that's trying to reach you. Sometimes protection looks like losing something you thought you couldn't live without. It looks like unanswered calls, broken promises, or someone walking away without warning. But if they had stayed, you might have lost yourself instead. You have to trust that every no in your life is redirecting you. It's guiding you away from the wrong job, the wrong friend, the wrong partner, and leading you toward what's truly aligned with your purpose. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that rejection was the best form of guidance you could have received. You didn't fail. You were being spared. Because sometimes what looks like rejection is really redirection disguised as heartbreak. Life has a way of removing what's not meant for you, even when you try to hold on tight. The people who left weren't meant to walk the full journey with you. They served their chapter in your story, not the whole book. And if you keep trying to reopen doors that life has already locked, you'll never see the new ones waiting to open. Rejection simply means the universe saw something you didn't and decided to protect you before you even knew you needed it. You said keynote no. 2, expand it into 400 words. Don't add ending sentences. Don't add any headings. ChatGPT said pain is the teacher that shows your true strength. Nobody ever grows when life is easy. Growth happens in those late nights when your heart is heavy, your eyes are tired, and your mind is fighting to understand why everything fell apart. Pain has a way of stripping away comfort, exposing what you're really made of. You can pretend to be strong when things are good, but pain will test that strength for real. It will see if your faith is real, if your confidence is genuine, if your spirit can stand when everything else collapses. Pain doesn't just hurt you, it molds you, sharpens you, and prepares you for what's coming next. When you're going through heartbreak, you start realizing things about yourself you never knew. You find out how much you can take, how far you can stretch, and how deep your heart can heal. Pain forces you to stop pretending and face your truth. It makes you look in the mirror and decide who you're going to be after everything breaks. You either stay down and let it define you, or you rise and let it refine you. Most people run from pain, but the ones who face it head on come out stronger, wiser, and more grounded than ever before. Every tough season is a lesson in disguise. Pain teaches patience when life feels unfair. It teaches faith when you can't see the outcome. It teaches gratitude for things you once took for granted. The deeper the pain, the deeper the understanding it brings. You start realizing that what hurt you was actually helping you become who you were meant to be. You stop blaming the past and start building from it. That's how you turn pain into power. Strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from survival. From those moments when you wanted to give up but didn't. From those mornings you cried but still got up and kept moving. Pain builds resilience in silence. It creates character in struggle. It gives you empathy for others and perspective for yourself. And even though you might not see it now, the pain you're feeling today is preparing you for a version of yourself that's unshakable, unstoppable, and ready for everything you once thought you couldn't handle. Pain is the teacher that shows your true strength. When everything in your life falls apart, when the people you trusted walk away, and when the plans you made crumble in front of you, that's when you truly meet yourself. You don't learn who you are when life is smooth. You learn it when you're forced to fight through the storm. Pain has a voice, and it speaks the truth about your capacity, your courage, and your character. It reveals the parts of you that comfort kept hidden. You find out that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that you can rebuild from nothing, that you can smile again even with a scarred heart. That's what pain teaches, not weakness, but the art of survival. Pain doesn't show up to destroy you, it shows up to train you. Every heartbreak, every failure, every betrayal carries a lesson wrapped in hurt. You start learning what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You learn that peace is more valuable than attention, that solitude is better than fake love, and that silence can heal more than words ever will. Pain makes you prioritize differently. It makes you wiser, calmer, more selective about who and what gets access to your spirit. It's a teacher that doesn't use words, it uses experience. And the more you learn from it, the more unbreakable you become. Sometimes pain pushes you into growth you never would have chosen. You didn't plan to be strong, but life gave you no choice. You didn't plan to start over, but pain forced you to. You didn't know how much power you had until pain demanded you use it. It's strange how suffering can build you into someone you actually admire, someone you never thought you could be. Pain may bend you, but it also shapes you into something greater. It stretches your faith, deepens your understanding, and strengthens your resolve. The truth is, strength isn't born in comfort, it's born in chaos. Every tear you shed, every moment you doubted yourself, every time you got up after falling, that's where strength was built. Pain trains you to keep moving when everything inside you wants to stop. It teaches you that you can be broken and still powerful, wounded and still worthy, tired and still capable of standing tall. You can't receive your blessing while holding on to the wrong person. Sometimes we get so attached to what's familiar that we block what's meant for us. We cling to people who no longer align with our purpose just because they feel comfortable, just because we're afraid of starting over. But you can't grab what's new when your hands are still full of what's old. Life will keep trying to bless you, but if you're too busy holding on to something that's already expired, you'll keep missing what's designed for your future. You can't keep asking for peace while entertaining the chaos that keeps you from it. You can't pray for better while chasing what's been showing you worse. Holding on to the wrong person drains your spirit. It blinds you to the signs, the red flags, the warnings that life keeps sending. You think you're fighting for love, but really you're fighting against your own growth. Sometimes you gotta let go, not because they're bad, but because they're not built to walk the next part of your journey. Every season of your life has different people assigned to it. Some come to teach you, some come to test you, and a few are meant to stay. But if you try to make temporary people permanent, you'll keep living in cycles instead of walking into new seasons. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never meant to be your burden. It means you finally trust that what's ahead of you is worth more than what's behind you. It's realizing that peace of mind is a blessing you can't afford to trade for someone who keeps disturbing it. You can't grow in a place where your soul is shrinking. You can't receive joy if you keep making room for what hurts you. Life can't elevate you until you learn to release what weighs you down. The truth is, letting go is not losing. It's clearing space. It's opening your heart, your time, your energy for what's truly aligned with you. The moment you stop holding on to the wrong person, everything you've been waiting for starts moving toward you. The blessing has been waiting, but it couldn't reach you until your hands were free. Every breakup is a setup for a breakthrough. When something ends, it's natural to feel like the world just stopped spinning. You wake up with that heavy feeling in your chest, wondering how to move forward, wondering why it happened. But endings have a way of preparing you for beginnings you didn't expect. Life doesn't close a chapter without having another one ready to be written. That heartbreak that felt like punishment is really preparation. You think you're losing someone, but what you're really losing is limitation. You're being freed from something that couldn't carry your purpose. Breakups force you to reset your priorities. They make you slow down, think deeper, and rediscover who you are without the noise of someone else's opinion. It's in that quiet moment of loneliness that you start hearing your own voice again. You remember your dreams, your goals, your value. You start realizing how much you gave away just to keep something that wasn't meant to last. That kind of clarity doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pain. The breakup shook your world, but it also woke you up. It pushed you to find strength you didn't know you had and confidence you had forgotten about. A breakthrough doesn't look like success right away. It starts in silence, in tears, in nights when you feel like giving up. But that's where transformation happens. Every time you choose healing over hatred, growth over grudges, peace over pain, you're stepping into your breakthrough. You begin to rise differently, walk differently, and see differently. The very person who walked away unknowingly opened a door for you to meet a higher version of yourself. Sometimes life removes the person you thought you needed so you can meet the person you were always meant to be. Every heartbreak carries a hidden message. You're not stuck. You're being shifted. You're being moved from what was draining you to what will develop you. The pain becomes the push that takes you to places comfort never could. One day you'll look back and realize that the breakup wasn't the end of your story. It was the spark that started your rise. What you thought broke you was actually breaking you. Open for everything greater waiting on the other side. Losing someone can help you find yourself. Sometimes it takes the absence of another person to remind you of your own presence. When you've poured so much love, time, and energy into someone else, it's easy to forget who you were before them. You start living around their habits, their moods, their needs, until one day they're gone and you're standing there wondering who you are without them. That emptiness feels like pain at first, but in that space, something powerful begins to happen. You start hearing your own thoughts again. You start remembering your own dreams. You start realizing that you existed before them and you still have purpose beyond them. Losing someone teaches you independence in ways comfort never could. It pushes you to take responsibility for your happiness instead of depending on someone else to create it for you. You start doing things that make you feel alive again. You learn to sit with yourself without feeling lonely. You discover new strengths, new talents, new passions that were buried under the weight of trying to keep someone else happy. You realize you don't need to be completed because you were never half. You were whole, even when you forgot it. When you lose someone, you also lose the version of yourself that needed them. That's part of the growth. You stop begging for love that doesn't respect you. You stop shrinking to fit someone else's comfort, and you start valuing your peace more than their presence. The pain of loss turns into the power of awareness. You learn what you want, what you deserve, and what you will never accept again. You start setting boundaries not out of anger, but out of love for yourself. That's when healing becomes real. Losing someone can be the wake-up call that reminds you to choose yourself again. You begin to see that solitude is not emptiness, it's freedom. It's a space where you get to rebuild, recharge, and redefine who you are. You start walking with confidence, not because someone else validates you, but because you finally do. The person you become after loss is wiser, stronger, and more authentic. Sometimes it takes losing who you love to finally find who you are meant to be. The end of a relationship is often the beginning of your transformation. When someone leaves your life, it doesn't just take away the comfort of their presence, it shakes up everything you thought you knew about yourself. The silence that follows can feel heavy. But that silence is where growth begins. It's in those quiet moments when you start seeing the truth, how much of yourself you gave away, how much you tolerated, and how much strength you've had all along. The end forces reflection. It makes you look at what you want differently, what you value differently, and what kind of love you're willing to accept moving forward. Transformation rarely happens in comfort. It happens in disruption, in pain, in endings that don't make sense until later. The breakup that hurt you becomes the mirror that shows you where you lost yourself. You start realizing that love was never supposed to cost your peace or your purpose. You start learning how to protect your energy, how to speak up for yourself, and how to trust your instincts again. You begin to see that everything you went through was shaping you into a wiser, stronger, more self-aware version of yourself. The transformation is slow, but it's real. As you heal, you notice that the things that once broke you don't have the same power anymore. The tears turn into lessons, and the pain turns into perspective. You start finding joy in small things again, confidence in your solitude, and gratitude for growth. The person you're becoming is built from everything you thought would destroy you. That's transformation. Not becoming someone new, but returning to the truest version of yourself. The end of that relationship was really the start of a deeper journey within. You stop looking for validation from others and start finding it within. You stop chasing what left and start attracting what matches your energy. Every ending clears the space for evolution, and every heartbreak carries a seed of renewal. The person who walked away didn't just leave. They opened a door for your rebirth. Transformation isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about using it as fuel to build the next version of your life with strength, clarity, and unshakable faith.